If you want to get there, it first starts with building out the person that you want to become, building out the person that desires and attracts a woman of higher power, a woman that isn't bound to sex, that is ambitious into her business, and that only cares for me and my business and pushing me each and every day. Or even worse, imagine you don't have these foundations and then you meet the girl of your dreams. You meet the person that you want to become, but you don't have all these systems in place. You don't have all this. So when you meet her, you can't fucking keep her. Two men walked into the same room, hoping to meet the woman of their dreams, but only one of them was able to keep her. And it was the man that had the structured life, his future prepared, and the physique and lifestyle that he desired. And this was me. And I'm gonna prove to you guys that it wasn't just luck in life that I got this woman of my dreams, but it's because I followed the systems that I'm gonna lay out exactly for you as if you're my younger self, and I'm gonna give you everything that you need to find the woman of your dreams. So I'm gonna first describe who this woman is. You may be asking, well, how do I know I even will gain value from this video? So let me break down how I was a passenger in life that used to do nothing and then became the man that attracts the woman that isn't bound to sex, is ambitious into her business, and the woman that puts me and my goals in front of everyone. I first want to start with just the inciting pain. What I went through and what I was dealing with before I found this relationship. One, I was just in a shitty relationship. I was in one that kept me from moving the needle of where I wanted to be. It made me lose 15 pounds of muscles. I picked up smoking and drinking, and it kept me in a box. It kept me in what made me feel like was my ambitions weren't good enough. It made me feel like my purpose wasn't being fulfilled. And next thing you know, because I was in this relationship that wasn't benefiting me, sexual activities consumed my entire life. The entire time that I was in this relationship, all we would do is just touch each other, have fun, and just not push towards a business, not push towards the goal. Next thing you know, within 2 years of that relationship, I was the exact same person as I was before starting out. And then next thing you know, if I wasn't with this significant other, on the weekends, they became lonely unless I went out and partied, but then that just hurt the relationship even more. And it felt like I was just keep getting into this loop of feeling emptiness as if I wasn't who I really wanted to be. And this completely killed me. It killed all my motivation. It made me feel like I wasn't worth it. It made me feel like everything I was doing wasn't for anything. And so I realized that I had to stop that. I cut out the relationship. I cut out some other stuff, but I realized that out of all these pains, out of all this suffering that I'm undergoing, it's not moving the needle. It's not pushing me to who I want to be. It's not making me be out of country with a ripped physique and living the lifestyle that I want. Of course, I got shades on because it's fucking sunny as shit, but it's a completely different lifestyle now. So I had that horrible life. Sexual activities consumed me. Weekends became lonely unless I went out and partied and drank. I felt empty because I wasn't pushing towards a purpose. So what did I do? I told myself I need a season of solitude. I need a season where I cut out the bullshit, cut out the fog, cut out everything that's blocking me from moving my needle and purely work towards my goals. So the first thing that I did was I deleted Snapchat, I deleted TikTok, and my personal Instagram. I only used my business Instagram, which I created that day when I made the decision that I'm gonna be a completely different man. I remember the last thing that I told my ex was, I'm gonna become a fitness influencer. I'm gonna become a coach. I'm gonna become someone that inspires other people. And next thing you know, because I put in the season of solitude, I'm there now. I ignored anyone that asked me to party and wasted my valuable time because I didn't realize I was spending every weekend just giving other people my time, benefiting them, but not benefiting me. Of course, I'd go out and drink. I might have some fun with some women or with some guys, but I mean, it wasn't fun. It wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't feeling like I was using my time to the most value. And so I stepped away from that. I stopped going out and partying. I ignored everyone. I detoxed myself from my phone, and I actually ended up buying a laptop instead. And if you guys haven't done that, do that now. Stop wasting time trying to start a business on your phone. Put the phone aside, open up a fucking laptop, and get to work. Once I did that, my progress increased tenfold. And then next thing you know, I realized that that was good and all. I was getting towards a business, but I didn't have a foundation. And so what I try to do is I tried waking up at 5 a.m. every single day. I try to have a strict workout regimen that kept me focused on where I wanted to be and the physique that I wanted. But I didn't realize it was taking up too much time in my day. You know, I had all this solitude season, but it wasn't sustainable. It was only a season of pushing past the element and getting to the person that I am today. But every man needs to go through this. And then the last thing that I did in this season of solitude was began praying each night, following a God, following a higher power, following someone that's governing my life and dictating the morale that I do and the right and the wrong that I possess each and every day. So that was my season of solitude, the season where I strictly put all my emotions aside and strictly focus on building some type of discipline in my life. Because again, I was smoking, I was drinking, I was doing everything that wasted my time in life, and it didn't feel like I was moving the needle. So I had that season of solitude, right? But that's when I installed systems, and systems are the framework of everything. You know, you can have this season of solitude, but if you don't have a framework, either you're gonna fall off after that season, or it's not gonna be sustainable long term. So the systems that I created are the 4-4-4 method, which is gonna be first 4 non-negotiables each and every day. So I told myself each and every day, if I just have 4 things that I do, that I push towards, and I knock them out each and every day, by the end of 7 days in a week, I'm gonna have progress that stacks upon each other. So the 4 for me were the 5 a.m. waking up at 5 a.m. every single day and getting towards my goals or getting towards the day, attacking my day, but then also getting 2 hours of business each and every day. I've told myself that I am not where I want to be. I need to start focusing on my business. I wasn't putting in the time and the effort that needed to be there. So I had the 2 hours of business, I had the 5 a.m. wake up, and then I added the gym sessions. I made sure that my gym sessions, they weren't too long. I cut them down from 2 hours to 60 minutes. And guess what? My muscle increased tenfold because I wasn't too worried on ego lifting and instead focused on concentrating lifts, focus on the eccentric part of the lifts, focus on lowering the weight but increasing the repetition. And that's what gained me the muscle that I needed. And then the 4th thing is gonna be protein goal. So I had my 5 a.m. wake ups, I had 2 hours of business, I had my gym sessions, and I had my protein goal. Those were the 4 non-negotiables that I chose every day. Once you have your 4 non-negotiables, you need to set up 4 boundaries that you leave. For me, it was little sleep, alcohol consumption, social media dopamine, and not getting enough sunlight. So if we first start with little sleep, this was affecting me in so many ways. I'd wake up and go to my sales job and not perform at my best. I'd wake up and try to record videos, but not have the energy to record videos. And it completely made me delinquent. You know, now it's only about an hour to 2 hours after I woke up, and look at the energy that I have because of the discipline that I set inside myself. I stopped myself from getting little amounts of sleep. And then next is removing all alcohol consumption. The most that I'm gonna drink is maybe 1 to 2 drinks every 4 to 6 months. I honestly don't drink a lot. You know, I am lucky because my girlfriend is a Muslim girlfriend, so she doesn't need to drink, she doesn't need to smoke, she doesn't need to vape or do any of that, but it helps me out because I don't need this alcohol consumption in my life. And then again, the 3rd thing is gonna be social media dopamine. I didn't realize this, but I'd wake up and I'd scroll on Instagram for like 15 minutes. And I thought, well, it's only 15 minutes of scrolling for the day. But no, that's not it. You're more receptible to dopamine if you have that early in the morning. So I told myself, remove all social media dopamine. Again, only posting content and only reviewing other people's content to strategize my own. I'm not going on there just to fucking scroll and waste my time. And then the 4th thing is not getting enough sunlight. For me, I didn't realize this, but the energy, the facial structure, the acne that I had, the tanness, the everything, the mood that I had, it was all due to me not getting enough sunlight. I kid you not. I was getting like an hour of sunlight each month. Don't tell anyone this because it's fucking embarrassing, but seriously, I know some of you guys can fucking admit to that too. Waking up, staying inside until you go to work, and then going to work and then coming home. But I stopped doing that. I told myself every single morning, 30 minutes of sunlight, and every single night, 30 minutes of sunlight, at least, bare minimum. And so once I had this framework, once I had these systems down, I had to create a standards list. This is gonna be a list of things that are projected to get me to the woman of my dreams. Because again, the main goal of this is to get you to the woman of your dreams. If you wanna get there, it first starts with building out the person that you wanna become, building out the person that desires and attracts a woman of higher power, a woman that isn't bound to sex, that is ambitious into her business, and that only cares for me and my business and pushing me each and every day. So the way that I did that was by building these standards lists. So the first thing was faith. I didn't realize this, but I was so far away from faith than I really needed to. And faith comes first, because without having a governor above you to like dictate you from, you know, your right and wrong, anyone or anything will stray you off your path. God keeps me aligned with my daily tasks and my yearly goals and makes it to where as long as I have the consistency, as long as I have the discipline, as long as I have the mindset to get to where I want to be, the woman will follow, the dreams will follow, and everything will come into my hand because I manifested it. And then the next thing is going to be family. A woman doesn't want a husband. A woman wants a father and someone that will take care of everyone around them. Focusing on family has reinstated that I support my family in as many ways as I can. And that's what a girl wants. That's what a significant other wants. That's what someone that stays with you for the rest of your life is needing in her life. So that's the first two. And then the third one is going to be loyalty. I had dealt with so many loyalty issues in the past, and I'm pretty sure you guys have. A lot of it was just in one of my relationships, and since that, it has haunted me because not only was I cheating in one of these relationships, but in another relationship, I was getting cheated on. And it felt like God was just reciprocating all this energy back to me. And so I realized that the only way for me to be successful in God's eyes and my future wife's eyes is by removing these distractions and staying with one soul for the rest of my life. So next is going to be ambition. I realized that I didn't have no fucking ambition. I realized that, I wanted to be this, but I wasn't putting in any work towards it. So I told myself, no woman will want a man that isn't chasing his goals or his desires. My last relationship, again, left me because I wasn't moving the needles. Then they ended up cheating on me. Well, guess what? Now I fucking am. Now I am moving the needles and I'm getting exactly where I want, and everyone behind me is left in the fucking dust, watching my videos, looking at everything that I do, and you guys should have that same exact mentality where everyone that wronged you in your past is now looking up to you, but with jealousy. And that is the best feeling. But that all started with just being ambitious into my life. And then the fourth or fifth thing is gonna be a little bit different, but it's gonna be feminine energy. I was never the best at dealing with escalated situations and understanding females, so I forced myself to become better. I realized that I needed to lower my tone, I needed to speak with reasonability, I need to understand situations and the best way to go about them to make sure that not only I'm in the right headspace, but she's in the right headspace, and that the relationship is intact. Because if one person doesn't put in enough effort, the other person's not gonna put in enough effort. And next thing you know, so much time is gonna be wasted and you're not gonna be meeting the girl that you want. You're probably gonna be wasting so much time. Or even worse, imagine you don't have these foundations and then you meet the girl of your dreams. You meet the person that you want to become, but you don't have all these systems in place. You don't have all this. So when you meet her, you can't fucking keep her. Imagine if, I can't even fucking imagine. I'm trying to imagine like if I was in my old self like 10 months ago and I wasn't disciplined and I wasn't this person and I met that girl, I would have been fucking pissed off that I wouldn't have been able to keep her. I would have been fucking heated. That would have destroyed everything. That's like a once in a lifetime thing that I would have wasted. But guess what? I took life by the balls and I told myself that I am gonna get the girl that I want because I manifested this. And next thing you know, she actually took me out of country. She's from Morocco. She's from another country. Next thing you know, everything in life feels like it's aligning because of the discipline, because of the framework, because of the foundations that I set up. And so lastly, I just want to go about talking about meeting her, how the whole interaction went, and how I made sure that this woman was for me. So I first saw her. I was pulling up to a gathering of friends who were drinking, they were playing games with each other, except me, I wasn't drinking. I was actually the guy who was having the most fun, being sober, because I was actually the guy that was having the most fun, being the most sober because of my addictive personality that I created. And then I saw her, a beautiful foreign queen that was laughing, appeared sober, and exuberated brightness. I mean, this girl was my dream. And so I told myself I gotta introduce myself to her. So we were all hanging out in a group setting for a period of time, and I noticed she wasn't speaking, so I cracked a joke to her. And it was like, well, do you speak English? And she started laughing, and we began conversing. And it started just taking off like that. Next thing you know, we were talking about her business. We were talking about my business. We were talking about all the ambitions that we set for ourselves and the goals that she has and the goals that I have. But it wasn't until she saw a God quote in my dash, in my car, when I was getting water, that it really solidified everything for her. And then for me, it took a little bit to solidify, but we learned so much about each other. I told her about, again, where my social media was, where the desires I had in life, what my business was doing. And she broke down her day trading. She broke down her e-com business that she has been working on gruesomely for. And then for hours, next thing you know, we were talking and understanding each other and the goals and the desires that we set out. So it felt like everything was aligning. I noticed her ambitions, her goals, and what she desired, which all replicated who I was. It seemed as if we were the same exact person, but in two different bodies. And that's the exact same thing that you should have. You shouldn't be looking for someone to complete you. You should be looking for a whole person, and you should be a whole person. Once you have one whole person and one whole person, they create a much better unified relationship. But if you have a half a person and you're expecting the other person to complete your other half, you're gonna have one person and it's not gonna be sustainable. I've been there before, I've been in that relationship, I've been in those shoes, and it doesn't work out. So of course, everything aligned, but it's just in first impressions. First impressions don't mean shit if they can't stack it up. So we ended up sparking a month long of testing out green flags and red flags for each other. You know, it was unspoken, but she was testing it out and I was testing out just because, you know, we wanted to make sure that this is exactly what we wanted. Everything felt perfect, but we wanted to make sure. So we saw each other only 1 to 2 times a week. We didn't make it too crazy each and every day. We made it to where everything was still fun. We still were excited to see each other because we didn't see each other much. We both updated each other each day on our business, and the time spent together felt 10 times more valuable because we weren't wasting 5 days a week, 7 days a week with each other doing nothing. We were only spending 1 to 2 days a week, and one of the days might have been working on our business together. The other day might have been doing some type of fun activity. And this solidified everything for me because I used to struggle with wasting too much time in sexual activities. And this girl, she didn't do none of that. She was a Muslim. She was all for herself. She didn't want this. She wants to wait till marriage. And this is the person that I manifested into my life because of the discipline and the knowing of who I want. I knew exactly who I wanted to. Of course, I had girls ask me out, but I told them no because they didn't pass these green flags. And then next thing you know, we're almost a year into the relationship and we're gonna be engaged. And I guarantee you, this can be you too. So if you took any bit of value from this video, it's create some type of discipline, create some type of framework, do something to get yourself in a season of solitude, to break out of that old habit, that old identity, and become someone new. If there is one thing that you boys could do for me, like, comment, subscribe, do something for the algorithm to help this video out if you found this valuable. And there is one thing that I really need you guys to do right now, and it's stop being a fucking passenger and take control of your identity. For the men who are actually ready and they want to attract the woman of their dreams and build the lifestyle, come book a call with me. The link is just in the description. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna map out your schedule. Then we're gonna map out your training. And then we're gonna map out your roadmap to get you to your desired lifestyle. And it'll probably only take 30 minutes. So if you're accepted into this one-on-one, I guarantee you success as long as you are able to put into the effort. This has been Jonathan. Hope you guys found value from this and find the woman of your dreams. Don't just watch this and think, oh, well, I'm not gonna be able to get her, because you can. I manifested all this and you can too. I'll see you boys.